I'm Justin with AmericanTrucks.com, and on this episode of The Haul, we're ordering up a whole bunch of horsepower for Stage 1 and sending it at the track. Hey, what's going on, guys? Justin here. Let me introduce you to the new family hauler. That's right, the 2021 F-150 Lariat. We got the 5-liter under the hood this time around in Oxford white because that's just how I roll. Now, guys, this truck actually replaced the 2017 Raptor that we did here on the channel. Hopefully you've seen that build. If not, check it out. In fact, over 1 million of you have watched that video. It was a pretty awesome build. Had a lot of fun doing Raptor things with my friends, met a lot of cool people, but it's just time for a change. And honestly, guys, there was something just missing with that truck, and it can be found underneath the hood of this new 21. That's right, the big bad V8. We're gonna do what we normally do here at American Trucks, throw a ton of cool parts at this thing, but we're gonna do things a little bit differently this time around. We're not going for some all-out off-road build. It's gonna be a little bit more street-inspired with a whole lot of horsepower. That's what we're gonna dive into first here, guys. We're gonna get this thing on the lift, see if we can't double the power of that Coyote V8 under the hood, and then at the end of this video, take it to the track and see how she does. Guys, we hope you like what we do here. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you're digging this content, but for now, got a lot of work to do before track day, so let's get this thing on the lift. All right, guys, first things first here in Stage 1, exhaust. Now, exhaust is extremely important to any build because it kind of sets the tone for the entire truck. Something too quiet doesn't really give it the presence you want. Something too loud, well, it's gonna drive you crazy on the road. Because of this, I went with a Corsa Sport, and here's how it sounds. So as you guys just heard with our sound clips, the Corsa Sport certainly isn't tame, right? But it's all controlled by your right foot. And what I mean by that is it's basically as quiet as you want it to be when you're just lugging on the highway. You got the cruise control set at 80. You do not hear this thing at all, man. But once you're at a red light and you just put your foot to the wood, it really does come alive. Now that quiet-free or drone-free operation on the highway is thanks largely in part to Corsa's RSC, or reflective sound cancellation technology. And believe me, guys, when I tell you, they're one at the best when they're talking about zero drone. This thing is very, very quiet. And as a family man and as a family hauler, this is very important to me for those long road trips with the wife and the daughter in the truck so I don't drive them crazy and never hear the end of it. Well, let's shift gears and talk construction here, guys, with the Corsa because it's also a really solid system in that regard as well. We're talking full 3-inch mandrel bent tubing throughout here, guys. 304 grade stainless steel throughout, and that is the cream of the crop when we're talking about aftermarket exhaust. And as such, Corsa does throw their lifetime warranty at this thing. But maybe my favorite part about this system, besides its rock and tone, is that new for 21 side exit configuration. Kind of gives off those throwback Lightning vibes. I'm a big fan, really cleans up the rear end. However, if you're not a big fan of that look, it's all good. They also have their dual rear exit configuration or their tried and true single rear exit configuration. So a lot to choose from here, guys. Big fan of the Corsa Sport because really, when we're talking about balancing both quiet and loud, in my opinion, there's really nobody that does it better than Corsa. All right, guys, now with the intake manifold out of the way, you can see we have a ton of room for activities up top here. I guess you can pretty much guess what's coming up next. Well, guys, as you can see, the front of the truck is still completely blown apart here for our next mod. Joe and I have been hard at work, but it's a great time for us to stop down and talk about really the star of this episode or stage of the build. And of course, I'm talking about the big old Whipple Stage 2 kit. It's their Gen 5 blower, 3-liter displacement, and that is available for the 21 and newer F-150s. Guys, this is the first to market kit available for the 21 and newer 5-liter truck. They're also the first to offer any calibration for it. And the best part is it is 50 state legal. So let's talk about what you're getting here. The Stage 2 kit does promise 775 horsepower, 685 pound-feet of torque at the crank, which after it goes through the 10-speed and those tires, we're gonna be hopefully looking at somewhere in the ballpark of the low to mid 600 horsepower range at those rear tires. We'll see how it all shakes out in a bit once we get this thing on the dyno. Now the Stage 2 kit does feature their massive 132mm billet elliptical throttle body. We got the 3/8 pulley on this thing, probably around 9 to 10 pounds of boost, give or take. They have upgraded our fueling a little bit. They've thrown in some 55-pound injectors, and we are actually instructed to reuse our stock plugs. Now, on top of all of the awesome equipment that Whipple sends you, they also give you one of the largest cooling systems to basically support this blower on the market, and that is a dedicated coolant system capable of holding over 2 gallons thanks to that massive heat exchanger up front, and honestly, that should alleviate any heat issues with this thing whatsoever. On top of that, guys, they do give you their Tomahawk device. Let me bust that puppy out. There it is. Now, this guy will be responsible for actually flashing the truck. As you may or may not know, there's really no tuning support available for the 21 and newer 5-liter F-150 at this time, with the exception of Whipple's. So the calibrators basically take your factory calibration, you email it off, they go to work on your mods, what your truck is, all that good stuff. They then email you back a tune within a day or two, and then you basically upload that using your Tomahawk and you're good to go. And it's nice because if I ever change tire size, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, stage 2, or gear ratio, this will be able to handle all of the adjustments rather easily. Guys, a really awesome kit. Big thanks to Whipple again for hooking us up here. As you can see, it looks great installed, fits underneath that stock hood without issue, and 50 state legal. I can't get over that. So even guys out there in really tough states like California, you can bolt this puppy up and basically double the horsepower of your 5-liter rig. So guys, we've got a little bit more work to go here. We're gonna go ahead and install those plugs that we've already gapped, fill up our coolant system, basically put the truck back together, and at that point, we'll show you how to flash everything, get it on the rollers in, see what we're working with. Well guys, if you've been watching the channel for any amount of time, then chances are you've always seen Joe doing a lot of the heavy lifting with my builds here, whether it was the Raptor or now installing most of the Whipple kit. I never really feel like I'm doing my part or helping enough. Well, I'm gonna change that all here today. So here we go. Boom. Now I feel like I did my part. You're welcome, Joe. Well guys, everything's pretty much wrapped up underneath the hood. Fluids are in. We kind of nut and bolt checked everything already. Changed the oil to 550 at Whipple's request. And now we've got our Tomahawk device in hand, got our tune loaded up to our SD card. So we're gonna flash the truck and do our first start. Well, Joe, what do you think? Should we fire this thing up? Moment of truth. Firing. Ah, much better. All right, guys, before we make our first dyno pull here, there is one more thing I need to add. All right, there we go. Just added 15 horsepower. Well guys, we just wrapped up our second of 2 dyno pools here with the Whipple installed, and what do you say we talk numbers, because yeah, they're pretty impressive. Bone stock, the truck made 306 horsepower, 331 pound-feet of torque at the rear wheels on 93 octane in 4th gear, again because of that pesky factory speed limiter. Now with the stage 2 Whipple under the hood, quite a difference to say the least, right? 596 horsepower, 490 pound-feet of torque, again at the rear wheels on that same 93 octane, essentially doubling the horsepower of my 21 F-150 and picking up 290 horsepower peak. And I mean, just massive curve gains everywhere throughout the board here. Very impressive to say the least here, guys. Again, a 50 state legal kit, fits underneath the factory hood of your 21 F-150, and the calibration process really couldn't be any easier. Also, hats off to Whipple and their engineering crew for the cooling system on this thing. We basically did 2 essentially back-to-back pulls here with the 21, and horsepower and torque drop-off were basically non-existent. In fact, both runs were within 1 horsepower, 2 to 3 pound-feet of torque of each other. So very impressive when we're talking about a twin screw blower, which are known typically to produce a lot of heat. Well, the cooling system is doing its job and doing it well. Guys, I think this is probably the best commercial for adding a Whipple to your 21 F-150. If you want to double the horsepower in a day or two right out of the box, there's really no better way. We're gonna take this thing off the dyno, head up the turnpike to our local track, Maple Grove Raceway, and see what this monster can do at the quarter mile. Well Well guys, here we are, Maple Grove, our local track with the 21, coming fresh off the dyno, making about 600 wheel horsepower, thanks to that Whipple Stage 2 kit under the hood. Guys, let's be honest, it's brutally hot out here today. DA is about 2,400 feet right now. Definitely not gonna be doing us any favors, but I think anything in the 11s period would be a huge success. Low 12 certainly wouldn't be bad either. We know bone stock, these things are somewhere in the 13 range, maybe low 14s, depending on your trim. So regardless, it's gonna be a massive improvement and should be a whole lot of fun. So let's get this thing in the line. All right guys, so here we go. First pass, we're gonna scrub the rears, 2-wheel drive, and then we're gonna put it in 4 auto. So nothing crazy here, just again, get a little heat in them. Okay, there we go, just a little scrub, nothing crazy. Now we're gonna go to, let's go to our sport mode. Okay, here we go. Come on, baby. She is rolling for a big girl. Let's go. Dude, that was fun. Wow. Man, we just did my Mustang up here and it went pretty damn fast, but that was almost more fun in a way. Man, that was awesome. I hate that I can't cheat and look on the way back. I was all excited. Let me see. Ah, oh, that's so close. 12.0. 12.0 at 116. It's so close. A 1.860. Damn, I thought that was gonna do it. But listen, it's still rolling out for a 6,000+ pound truck and, you know, being 100 degrees out here today. I can't be too upset by that, but I guess we'll let her cool for a little bit. Maybe we'll make one more hit, see if it goes a little quicker, but we're right there, man, right there. All right, guys, so we had a 12.0 last time around. 1.860 foot time. If we can get that 1.8 to a 1.7, we'll hit the goal, but here we go. I'm not even gonna do a burnout because track temperatures are literally 180 degrees or something crazy. All right, let's see if we can stall her up a little higher. Here we go, guys, ready? Hold on. Come on, baby! Give me that 11! You got this, baby! Putting my foot through the damn floor. Oh. I don't know, man. I don't know. If it happened, it would have had to have happened on the 60 because I think we hit basically the same mile an hour. We gave it all we could. She's certainly pulling hard. Yeah, it left good, guys. Again, these things are just nasty, but heat and weight eventually take over. And unfortunately, that's what we're dealing with here today. Well, hey, the truck's still running good, if nothing else, you know? 2 back-to-back pulls. We did let it cool down a little bit, but it felt real healthy again. That's a testament to Whipple and their awesome cooling system. All right. Well, I see everybody walking around. I probably didn't do it, did I? Oh, I got a little slower. 12.1 at 116. Yeah, like I said, at a certain point, heat and weight just take over. Scott just did the track temp. It was 131 degrees on track. It's currently in the mid to high 90s now, air temp wise. DA is through the ceiling. Certainly not excuses, but real variables you need to take into account when drag racing. At that kind of heat, that kind of air, it's just certainly not gonna happen today. But, I mean, dude, 12.0, 12.1 out of a 6,500 pound truck, hot lapping this thing essentially. What more can you want? It really is healthy, and again, hats off to Whipple, man. This is a lot of fun. Well guys, after 2 back-to-back runs here in the 21 F-150, we just missed that high 11 mark we wanted to hit oh so bad. But hey, I'm not complaining. Listen, a 12.0 and a 12.1 in this heat is certainly commendable out of a big 6,000 pound truck here today. We want to thank Whipple again for sending us the Stage 2 kit and making this all happen. Again, 600 wheel out of this thing, 12.0s at about 120 miles an hour. Listen, it's a big truck. It shouldn't be moving that fast, but here we are, and it certainly is a whole lot of fun. Guys, we hope you enjoyed this stage of the build, but we're just getting started, man. This is stage 1, a little bit of power, a little bit of sound thanks to that Corsa, but now we're really gonna throw the kitchen sink at this thing, throw a whole ton of modifications at it, and you guys will just have to stay tuned for stage 2. In the meantime, from Maple Grove Raceway, I'm Justin, thanks for watching, and remember, for all things F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.